What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Boozer here. Thanks for stopping by. Hopefully, you guys have a good Monday so far. In today's video, we're going to be talking about the upcoming progressive event that's going to be happening during CVC, which is happening in about 18 hours from now. And like always, if you guys are around on YouTube when CVC starts, I usually start streaming about a couple hours after CVC. It is quite early in the morning for myself, but I like to make it a regular thing. So if you guys enjoy some live streams, so make sure you guys drop on by tomorrow. In any event, this upcoming CVC progressive event, just the usual stuff here. We got two progressive events, one for each day. I'm going to put them both on screen right now, and we're going to talk about them quickly. So it looks like day one. So if you guys don't know what these progressive events are about, you get 15 extra copies of whatever champion you choose thrown into the pool. And then, that increases your odds a little bit. For non-void legendaries, it's going to give you about a total of 5% chance. And then the void legendaries, you're getting about a 15% chance overall. Looks like day one is going to be focused on the Banner Lords faction. So you got a bunch of champions here from the Banner Lords. The big one here is obviously the Unity champion, Aislinn. Aislinn enables some pretty nasty siege-only teams. But obviously, for any Bannerlord team, you're going to need Taras Marichka, which are not being offered as the Void champions here in this day. The rest of the champions for the non-voids do not seem that great. Stalktis, Dragonbane can be quite good for Hard Dragon if you guys really want him for that content. Great passive here that sends the poisons back to the boss, which kills him very quickly. So that's going to be a good use case for him. Kaja the Rai, a decent reviver, not OP or anything like that. Does come with a speed in all battles aura. Has a revive, has a turn meter boost, has a little bit of a cleanse, a little bit of everything, but it's not crazy in any department. She is okay, especially for faction wars and stuff like that. If you guys are looking for the void legendaries, obviously there's some really strong ones here. We got Titus, Black Plume. I think it's probably easier to build up a couple tokens and exchange whatever fusion for Titus nowadays than to try to get him from the progressive. Obviously, he's going to be a big champion in those teams that rely on the Wixwell shields and the growing of the shields and stuff. He's obviously very, very meta for Hydra and Chimera Clash if you're looking for damage. Now, the other Void legendaries here are actually also very good. First up, we got Cecilia the Red Hope. Very, very strong Void legendary champion. She does bring multi-hit AoE attacks with Veil. And then this attack's actually based off of enemy max HP. So you can do pretty good against PvE content. Really nice buff here with the increased defense on your whole team, strengthen, and a counterattack on a 3-turn cooldown. And then also a very strong passive. You got basically two good passives mixed up into her passive as a fatal damage, well, not fatal damage prevention, but more like a, kind of a prevent death passive. And then she has kind of like a Doom Priest passive, but much worse. But still, you mix them both up into a single passive of one champion. Very, very strong. Very support-ish, support style kit, but she can hit pretty hard. And she's Void Affinity too, which is really nice. And then the other Void Lego here is Raglan. Raglan actually quite strong and annoying with 9-piece Mercurial. She can't be locked out based on her passive, and you can't block her active skills, so she's always going to be able to use her abilities. Huge heal on this, 4-turn cooldown. It's a cleanse and a massive heal. And then she has very quick turnaround revive. Revive single target though, but full turn meter 100%. And it also decreases the cooldown of all the revived allies skills by 3 turns. So really, really strong. Really, really strong single target revive. And from the epic pool, Ulfric, if you guys are looking for Mikage, deserves a shout. Lady Quillen as well. Ursula the Mourner, if you guys don't have any super strong Bannerlords, she's probably the one that will probably carry you the most and probably most easily to get, I think, Ursula. I remember when I first got Ursula, she gave me a bunch of extra stages on Faction Wars because she's so good at carrying the entire squad. All right, let's move on to day 2 and talk about that a little bit. Here we're talking about High Elves. We got High Elves on deck for progressive. Some really powerful ones here, and I think some of you guys would probably go for this, especially the super endgame whale / Kraken crew. First up, you got Fyna here, Fyna Blade of Aravia. She is the faction Unity champion. Where is she? I have Fyna here. Yeah, I have Fyna on this account. So Fyna here, she enables some of the most powerful or highest damage clash teams in the game. The buffs from her, especially the increased crit rate, allow you to build your damage dealer with more stats, less crit rate. The resetting of the cooldown of the target, also very, very powerful to get more damage from your damage dealer. So we're talking Trunda teams. We're talking the highest damage teams in the different clashes. Fyna is going to be in that squad. It's one of the best in terms of the faction unity champions. If you're just looking for Kraken numbers from the clashes, we do have High Keeper Prisma also up for grabs. Interesting champion, has a pretty cool passive here. It's a 40% chance at kind of swapping buffs, turning positives into negatives on the enemy squad. Too bad it wasn't higher. 40% seems a little bit inconsistent. Also has a revive here, which is actually decent. 4-turn revive, and then a nice strip on target, and then join in with the ally attack, or bring in the ally with the highest crit damage in. And then they get a bit of ignore defense boost here. So it's pretty nice damage boosting A2. A1 has a bit of crowd control, a little bit of stun, and then transfer debuff here. Not a bad champ, can be probably pretty useful against maybe some boss content, just general carry. Up next, we have the Incarnate. Incarnate actually was revised recently. And, originally she was a fusion and she was just terrible and everything. She's supposed to have synergies with Arbor, but she still sucks. She was updated and I tried her out and she's not bad. And she actually gave me quite a bit of support through the hard faction wars, which is very good. She got an A1 provoke, so it's pretty good just for crowd control, right? And then she's got the shield strip, and then also stripping of 2 other random buffs. It's not a full strip, it's like a partial strip, but still it's something. And then she places a little bit of shields on your team to protect them. The big one here is this ally protection. Ally protection and strengthen is very, very strong at protecting your team, and she heals the arbiter and all that. But the thing is, when she dies, which she is inevitably going to do, because she doesn't have any way to like kind of keep herself alive, like unkillable or prevent damage to herself. When she dies and then she get revived by the arbiter, she instantly activates this ability to protect your team again, which is actually really good, really good. Especially with the high elves, it seems like, at least for my team, my high elves is full of squishy champions. For her passive, again, much better synergy here with Arbiter. When she dies, she's going to reset the revive from the Arbiter, which is great. And Arbiters receive 30% less damage. And generally, she just does a much better job of protecting the Arbiter here with her updated kit. I was actually decently surprised at how effective she was. I know we trash her a lot, but after her update, her kit update, she was actually a lot better than it looks. Even with her update, her kit doesn't look great, but in general practice, she actually does pretty decent. Next on the list, we have Strategos Islan. Islan, another fusion from the past. Not a bad champ. Has the AoE decreased speed here with a little bit of a strip, I guess. Decreased duration of all enemy buffs by 1 turn only. And then he also brings increased defense, ally protection, which can really protect your team. He does have a provoke on the A1. He brings a little bit, pretty decent package for like Hydra content. But I'm not too sure. I used him a little bit in Hydra like years ago, and he was okay. Obviously, the provoke, it's only 50% chance, but you get a double hitter, and then you get the counterattack stuff. It's not bad. He does place extra buffs on himself, so you gotta be careful about Mischief Head stealing all his stuff. So just build him with some resistance. He has a great survivability here with his passive, giving him some nice healing. Not a super flashy champion, but he's relatively effective. And then lastly, for the non-voids, we have Lysandra here. Still a very good turn meter booster, good base speed, good speed aura. In all battles, you got the increased speed here. You got the turn meter boost with the turn meter decrease. This ability is absolutely insane. If it connects with everybody, you do need accuracy to decrease turn meters of enemies, and you can't decrease turn meters of champions wearing stone skin or mercurial. So that's a bit of a problem. But otherwise, very good. Obviously, against waves, she's insane. Against Dark Fae, for example, against normal Fire Knight, yeah, stuff like that. She's very, very nice. And then she's going to be up for grabs here on day 2. Now, for the Void Champions for day 2, there's something here that I think people would probably end up chasing a lot. And this is like whale food or Kraken food. But we have Solanar Gleaming finally has his progressive event. It's been a while. It's been a couple months, I think. But Solanar's here. Yeah, people are probably going to whale out like crazy for this, which means CVC is going to be pretty big, expensive if you got a big whale opponent. So it is what it is. Just gotta be careful for that. We got the A1 here is absolutely nuts. Places fatigue. The counterattack from the passive effect is what kills you, right? He has a 100% chance to counterattack with his skill whenever an enemy activates extra turn. So that's going to be mythicals, instant turn. A lot of champions have instant turns, extra turn mechanics nowadays. Mythicals, Marius, self buffing and then into an extra turn, or you have the metamorph ability, or whenever an enemy changes form. Oh, they have it covered here. And it also has a 35% chance to counterattack when this skill, whenever they have a turn meter increase, which of course happens a lot. So this ability happens a lot. This ability also incredibly annoying because unless you lock him out or get him to use this ability, he's immune to all debuffs. So he's very hard to control. And instead of getting debuffed, he gains buffs. And I don't know about you guys, but whenever I attack Solanar and I forget about this for 2 seconds, they always get block damage, unkillable. To get the craziest stuff. You can even get like stone skin on this. Yeah, it's you can get all sorts of crazy stuff on Solanar, and he just becomes an unkillable machine that just machine guns your whole team down with his A1. Yeah, and then on his A3, he has a way to steal all your stuff, which is again very insane. Or full ignore stone skin. Look at the damage here from books. He gets 40% damage from books there. 25% damage from books on his A2 and 20% damage from his A1. And then lastly, he has an extra chance to wreck your team. If everybody's on your team's dead, he's going to be the last one to come back. Sometimes the magma shield can wreck you if you're not ready for reflect damage. And if his A2 is off cooldown, then you're not going to be able to crowd control him. Yeah, he's a really crazy champion. Luckily, he's a void champion, which means he's more accessible than mythical champions, but that also means that more people have him, which means you run into him more often. Definitely one of the best or most sought after void champions in the game right now currently. Supreme Elhain is next. Again, another fusion from the past was the anniversary fusion. If you guys were playing way back a couple years ago. Just a damage dealer, nothing really much going on her kit. She doesn't hit particularly hard, but she does have extra turn effects. She does have skill damage boosting here. Damage increases by 10% for each debuff on the target. And then the skill reset on the A3. Single target, ignore ally protection, strengthen, and shield. And then extra turn if they kill somebody. The passive here, she is immune to decrease attack, which means her attack won't be reduced. And then she inflicts 20% more damage against targets whose attack is lower than this champion's attack. I feel like there's champions nowadays that inflict 100% more damage against enemies with lower attack. It just feels like, or double damage or whatever. 20% just doesn't feel like anything nowadays. But this champion's, I think, at least 3 years old, 4 years old now. It's quite a bit old. Could use a bit of a buff, especially since she doesn't really do anything, just does damage. Yeah. And then lastly, for the void champions, here's another champion that could use a buff, Ethos. Ethos definitely could use a buff. I really like this champion. I like his animations. They're quick. It feels like they hit hard. But his kit just doesn't do it anymore. He's just not strong enough. His extra turn mechanic on his A1, destroy max HP. He has a AoE triple hit, place weaken, right? Like, this is really strong. Even like against Mercurial, can be really strong. But he needs to do something else. He can't just hit them and then do nothing. So yeah, this guy's kit needs a little bit of a work. Make him like a super hard hitting champion. Because his kit doesn't really have anything else going for him, right? Like he's just here to do damage. And without ignore defense, without ignore stuff in his kit, he's just not strong enough, especially nowadays. So it's a shame. I actually still use this guy as my campaign farmer. So it's just the way it was for many, many years. And I just left him as that. But it's still a good wave clear, and yeah, I think he looks cool, and I think his animations are really nice. I think we got a couple other Mikage epics here, Skaramis and Dahlia, I think. Yeah, so we got a couple Mikage pieces there if you guys are looking for those. Generally, guys, I don't recommend going for progressives because it's a crapshoot. The odds are very stacked against you, even if you pull a legendary, which is going to be very hard to do because the rates are not boosted. And even if they were boosted, they're not really good anyways. So pulling shards without any kind of guarantee outcome is just asking for disappointment. So with that being said, guys, that's going to be it for this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Hopefully it was informational for you guys. Like I said, I'm going to be online during CVC, so you guys are around. Make sure you guys drop on by. Have a great start to your fusion, and then have a great start to your CVC if I don't catch you guys. Thanks for watching until the end. Appreciate you all. Have a great day, and I'll see you guys in the next video.